All right, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be. Wherever you may be, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. All right, we're in my little files here, which I've cleared out, got nothing in there now. Save that, but I'm going to repost. But I want to grab this here. And this was from earlier in the world news. We could play a whole 2 minutes, but I really want to get to a particular point here, where something was said there. But since it's only 2 minutes, I guess we'll play the whole news segment. And I want to just grab a couple scriptures based on that, because I want to get around to it, from earlier. So let's go and push play on it.
China and the United States, with Beijing declaring it's prepared to go to war with America. The alarming words reflect China's fury over Donald Trump's trade tariffs and coincides with a dramatic boost to its defense spending.
China's President Xi Jinping commands the latest session of the National People's Congress, the calculated show of unity and strength, contrasting with the chaos caused by Donald Trump's treatment of America's allies and strategic partners.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people.
The world entering a dangerous new era, Beijing announcing a 7.2% increase to its defense spending after the US president increased tariffs on Chinese imports.
If war is what the US wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the...
And that's exactly where I wanted to get to right there. All right, whether it be a trade war, tariff war, whatever, or any other type of war, we're ready to defend. All right, and that lines up with prophecy, man. Not saying it's going to just happen right away, because that digital system has to come into play. But we do see with all these certain different things that have been happening of late, the Lord is setting a higher stage for the things that are going to take place and leading up to the whole, overlay of World War III. Because we're pretty much there, but to the point of where it's just chaos. There's fighting in the States, fighting here, fighting there, fighting in the West, fighting in the East, fighting all over, right? World war, okay? Everybody going down to the Middle East, the Valley of Yehoshaphat, like the scriptures say. Right, we see the Lord constantly putting, certain words and, by use of, the angels playing on these people's minds, right? To put words in their mouth to say things that to them are just words. To them, they're just being defensive or offensive or, whatever the case may be, defending their country. But to us, we see, the spiritual side of things, man. And these things lead up to things that are prophetic. I guess we'll play the rest of what this clip has. But I'll probably rewind it back just so we can just say that once more.
A threatening message repeated by China's diplomats in Washington.
We're ready to fight till the end. As Secretary of Defense, how do you take that? Well, we're prepared. Those who long for peace must prepare for war.
Australia's military preparedness tested by 3 Chinese warships conducting live fire drills and a circumnavigation of the continent.
That, God forbid, a war could happen.
Elbridge Colby, Donald Trump's choice for US defence policy advisor, saying Australia's defence spending is well below the 3% of GDP the president expects.
We need to get to 3% of defence spending because it's in our national security interests.
Our defence policy is to increase our defence expenditure. That's what we're doing.
China isn't the only defence challenge. Under Donald Trump, the US is retreating as Western Europe's security guarantor, which means all of America's traditional allies will have to step up if Russia is to be defeated. Andrew Probyn, 9 News.
You say right there at the end?
Our defence expenditure. That's what we're doing.
China isn't the only defence challenge. Under Donald Trump, the US is retreating as Western Europe's security guarantor, which means all of America's traditional allies will have to step up if Russia is to be defeated.
All of America's traditional allies will have to step up if Russia is to be defeated. But wait a minute. Hold on, Mr. Postman. Has not Trump been dissing and threatening his own allies? Have not brothers that have done lessons over, a week or so, whatever, since all these things have come up? What do you mean? All right. Your allies are not going to want to continue fighting with you if you've been threatening them, all right, even with the Ukraine thing. Well, that's not so much as, I mean, but in a sense, as I was about to mention, though, I think it was the UK or whoever it was, and some different, group of people, some leaders or whatever got together and to stand up for Ukraine, as funding wise, since Trump wasn't, willing to do it. But then next thing you know, Zelensky turns around and all of a sudden he wants to apologize. All right, so this is just the Lord, having the angels behind the scene work on these guys' minds, and really he's just, he's having them in confusion because they want to keep peace. All right, that's what they want. Okay, because they understand if there's a world war, we're all destroyed. All right, and especially the elites, they know that when it comes to world war, that means we're taken out of power. Okay, so we want to prevent a world war, but at the same time, all right, the left-hand spirits have them do nothing but fight and bicker and do this, do that, make up, fight, bicker, same thing over and over and over. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is prophecy, man. Prophecy will be fulfilled. Okay, but I mean, he got to say it one more time. Just run it back one more time.
Retreating as Western Europe's security guarantor, which means all of America's traditional allies will have to step up if Russia is to be defeated.
All of America's traditional allies have to step up if Russia is to be defeated. But you have been going against your own allies, all right? But I want to go into this. I'm glad I actually played all that because it makes me now think about Revelation chapter 17, things of that nature. We already somewhat mentioned Joel 3, mentioning the war. You know what? Because I got something else that I want to get, which is why I'm going back to this portion here. So let me play this real quick.
Other type of war, we're ready to fight.
Imports.
对中国搞
If war is what the US wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end.
A threatening
Yeah, we're ready to
message
fight to the end.
repeated by China's diplomats in what?
So I'll leave that here. And then what I had over here was in 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And I just wanted to read a few scriptures there. So it says, the great and mighty clouds, we probably could have read up a little bit. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Well, let's just start at 38. It says, and then shall there come great storms from the south. What are these storms? It's not talking about boom, boom, thunder, lightning and stuff. These storms are talking about armies, all right? There's a precept in Ezekiel 38. I believe it's like, is that 38:9 or 38:10, which also mentions the same thing. Let's just see if we can prove it real quick. You know what? Do we have another book? Yeah, we do. We can grab this one. That way I won't have to go back because it'll just disappear. So, what did I say? Ezekiel 38. Okay. Yep, there you go. 9. Ezekiel 38:9. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud, right? Storm, cloud, all right? To cover the land. Thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. So the key words there were actually the key word in the scripture is people. But things that it mentions is what? It says bands, cloud, and storm. So if you read up, which we're not going to do, but if you read up above, it talks about different countries gathering together under the backbone of Russia. It says, be a guard unto them. So these are talking about these nations with standing armies, fighting armies, to be a backbone, for Russia to be a backbone to those different armies joined together as one against the powers of the West. All right, so that's what it's going into when it says storm or cloud or bands. These are talking about armies. That's why it says to cover the land. All right, let me see if I could just grab one point from up above. Here we go, perfect. And actually, do I want that one? Well, that's a good one though. It says, I will turn thee back upon hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army. You see, army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So if you think about this in the modern day, you talk about army, tanks, choppers, jets, whatever else, okay? And guns, of course, right? That's one of the main things, okay? And it goes on to talk about all those other things we mentioned, so on and so forth, all right? So there you go. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. World War III is imminent, but we have to have that micro C hit first. As a matter of fact, let me hold on, give me a second here. Actually, well, I guess we could read that. It says that, thus said the Lord Yahweh, shall come up to pass, that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. So it's talk about what? War in the States, all right? Destroying America, all right? Ultimately well, actually by war, but ultimately by nuclear missiles, right? But destroying America, okay? It says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, which is America. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. And what did Zelensky say the other day, man? You have nice oceans, all right, but you'll feel it later, all right? Because to the north and the south, you got Canada and Mexico, and moving down to further south from there, But on the east and west, which period, in general, there's probably, if I'm correct, I'm not sure, I might be wrong, but there's probably more waters touching any border of America than any actual land mass. There's more water touching the borders of American states than land masses, all right? Because the land masses are only north and south, okay? But east and west, you have nothing but waters, all right? So it says, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. All right, look, and it says, which have gotten cattle and goods. And how did these Edomites of America gain everything they have? Excuse me. Now, rape, robbing, pillaging, villaging, stealing, backstabbing, war. Okay, a bloody man. Sith thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. Going back to the blessing, Genesis 27, linking up with Revelation 6 and 4. All right, that they should take peace from the earth and they should kill one another. Okay, let's go back over here because we actually got more than we wanted. But I mean, the point is made though, right? Lord will, the point is made, and it makes more sense to you when it mentions the storms and things. So it says, and then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north, and another part from the west. Who do you think the west is talking about? It's talking about America, because everybody's going. Let me grab that back up real quick. Joel chapter 3. Let's just get the point. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right, all these nations that have nuclear capabilities and standing fighting armies, hey, prepare yourself. And all you nations who didn't quite have the things that you needed, maybe you had an army or whatever else, but maybe you didn't have the materials needed. Well, make yourself the proper alliances, and there have been countries who have done that. The proper alliances have given them the ability to buy certain rockets and things of that nature from another country, be supplied with, or also things that are necessary to make nuclear bombs because of their strategic alliances. I believe it mentions the same thing in hold on. I intended this to be short, but you know how the spirit is. Let me see if I can find Isaiah 14, where it says, how has thou become as weak as we? Okay, is that it? Yep. So it says, hell from beneath is moved for thee. Isaiah 14:9, to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? You see, America can't just threaten somebody like it says in is that Revelation 13, who can make war with the beast, right? They can't just threaten anybody with nukes, in which they can, and they probably will at some point. But what I'm saying is, they can't just threaten to nuke someone off the planet when that country also has nukes. So if I know you're threatening me with the nuke and you may use it, what would stop me from using my own nukes? And we know that there's going to be certain places on this earth that's going to get rocked. But as to where that's going to be, we really don't know. Okay, other than the state of Israel, we know that place is going to get smoked up. All right, but as anywhere else, we don't know. Only idea I would have is also Russia, because they're the big bad on that side of things. So it's possible, but we know for a fact America is going to get melted up. Okay. And really, that's all I wanted. The pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, the worms cover thee. Yeah, that lines up with Daniel 7, where it says his look was more stout than thy fellows. All right, all that pride, he signed an executive order to make English the official language, talking about the Gulf of America, talking about expanding here, expanding there, talking about making Canada the 51st state. All right, what was the other thing? The bald eagle. All these things, making all these things official, all right? Showing you that they are the revival of the ancient Roman Empire. But all that pride and all that pomp is going to be brought down to the ground. Back in Joel, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Did the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua. And we know that China is a part of the core, not just part of the BRICS, because you have the BRICS and the BRICS Plus. So China is part of the BRICS, which are the core members. It was Brazil, Russia, India, China. And the very next year after they formed, they added on South Africa, and that became the core members known as BRICS. And then you have Plus, BRICS Plus, which are other nations who have already joined up or who have applied for BRICS membership because they're all trying to escape the devilish American dollar, right? And really the BRICS formulated from those things, all right? The pressure from America, tariffs, sanctions, and things of that nature. So it's like, you know what? Let's go around this filthy dollar. Now, of course, they're still using it to a certain extent, but they're slowly working to where they're trading their own currency and not have to use the American dollar. So I can trade my Indian dollar for a Russian dollar. Now, I know that's not called dollar. I'm just trying to make it, as simple as possible. I could take my Indian dollar and purchase and get, whatever Russia, and basically that Indian dollar will be what's the word? We'll just say transform. I can't think of the word I'm looking for right now. So the Indian dollar will be transformed into a Russian dollar. And so we made a transaction without the American dollar ever have to come into play. You see? That's how the BRICS was formed. And that's why they're working towards what is known as de-dollarization. Man. It's all about moving away from the American dollar. And ultimately, everybody's in on the whole game plan of central bank digital currencies. Okay? Everybody's in on it. You just have this side and that side, but everybody's going digital because it's all a show on a world stage because it's all part of the banking family's ultimate plan, man. It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And what does that mean? It means destruction. It means war. That's what he's sending Yahweh and the angels for. Yahweh Shabbat, okay? Shabbat, going into that word Shabbat, which means judge or judgment. All right, judgment, okay? And this judgment ain't going to, the people's court. All right, it's not going to what they call the United Nations Council. All right, it's not signing papers and getting lawyers to look through this paper. No, the Lord's coming to break necks, man. Okay, says he had on his head many crowns. All right, he will won the head over many countries. All right, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fast overflow, for the wickedness is great. And we can keep reading. As a matter of fact, we just get the next verse. It says, multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Where's that valley of decision? Over there in the east, man. All right, what they call the Middle East. All right. So we go back over here. It says, and strong wind shall arise from the east and shall open it. And the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind shall be destroyed. The great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up full of wrath. And the star. All right. Now, I know I'm not fully breaking everything down, but I'm trying to get to a particular point. But it says, and the star, that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein. And they shall pour out over every high and eminent place in horrible star. What is this talking about? It's talking about nuclear destruction. Okay. As I mentioned before, we don't know the extent of every place that's going to catch some kind of, flying nuke or whatever, some kind of missiles. But we know for a fact that America is the main place. It is the main place, the number one place. Now, what other what other places the Lord has on his radar, hey, time will tell. Lord, will we be of that elect? We're going to find out, because we're going to be up in that chariot. All right. As John the Revelator saw himself in chapter 15, we're going to be on that chariot, seeing America get smoked up. But of course, they're not just going to, be fried up, right? They're going to shoot missiles on, to whatever targets too. We don't know what those targets are going to be, but we know they're probably going to fire off missiles as well. And they may get a few shots off, or however it's going to work. Okay. Or maybe they don't get any off. Who knows? We don't know. I believe that there will be places that, get hit. May not be totally destroyed as America is, but you get my point. So it says the horrible star, right? Fire and hail and flying swords. It's talking about the missiles, man. And many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. All right. That great destruction by nuclear fire, man. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood and grass of the meadows, and their corn, because nothing can stand against the fire. All right. Except for the remnant. Okay. And they have to be taken up into the chariot, so they won't be destroyed here. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon. They who? The bricks and all their allies. And eventually at some point, they're America's own allies. Because we didn't get that. We didn't mention it. We got the Joel. Mentioned Joel. We got the Joel. So let's get this. We also mentioned this as well. Revelation 17. All right. So it says, and he said unto me, he saith unto me, Revelation 17:15, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, right, these vassal states, these shall hate the whore. Who is the whore? It's talking about Babylon the Great, America, the West, and shall make her desolate and naked. How does it make her empty and naked? And shall eat her flesh, burn her with fire. By what? Nuclear missiles. Behold, a day shall come, hot as an oven. Zechariah 14:12. Ezekiel, I will leave you here, melt you. That great melting pot will be America. It is America. Not will be. It is America. We're just waiting for it to be melted. For the Most High have put it in their hearts. In who? The vassal states, the so-called allies of America, who Trump has been threatening, who Trump is driving a bigger wedge between. All right, with every time he opens his mouth about them. All right. It says to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And beautiful the water Yahweh Shem Shah, because the Spirit just fed me one more. Let's get one more. Obadiah 1:7. All the men of thy confederacy, all right? We just talked about what? The United Nations, right? We talked about vassal states and all these things. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with, yeah, and what does Zelensky say? All right, you got a nice ocean, all right? But the war is going to happen on American soil. It's going to happen all over the earth in different places, but it's definitely coming to the states and eventually will be settled by nuclear fire. Okay? It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee, and the scriptures say what? That their end shall come through them in 2nd Ezra, all right, chapter 12, all right? The end, I think it's, no, I believe it might be 11 or 12, but it says that their end shall come through them. And as I mentioned the other day, who are the two big, all nations are in it. That's why it's called World War. But who are the two players at the Super Bowl? Edomite versus Edomite. And if Satan is against Satan, his house cannot stand. Their end shall come through them. It says, the men that were at peace with thee, your United Nations Council, where there's no Israelites, because we don't matter, right? All your friends, all your so-called allies who you're dissing and threatening, right? They have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall not in that day, said Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau. Yeah, for you silly Edom is done away with, people. This is a future event. It says shall not in that day. So if Esau is already done away with, how can you say in that day? Speaking on Edom, because the Edomites are still here. But let's go back. Have the hang on that. Actually, we read all Revelation 17, so we jump back over here and see if we can wrap it up. It says, and they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. Who is it talking about? Talking about America. These nations have come up against America. War will happen on the American soil, and eventually they're going to flee, like it says in Revelation 18, go back to their own land, because they're going to plan to launch nuclear missiles over here. They shall come to her and besiege her. There it is right there. The star. What's the star? And all wrath shall they pour out upon her. It's the nuclear missiles. After war has taken place, they're going to leave, go back to their own countries, and shoot the missiles over here. You see? It says, then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven, and all they that be about her shall be with her. Is that not, I don't know why I keep scrolling so far. Just try to get that box up the top. Yep. Revelation 18. Actually, let's get the one that mentions smoke. Let's go down. Yeah, here we go. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? Talking about the West, man. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. It's only going to take 1 hour to melt this place up. Or I should say light this place up. Because the fire is going to keep going for however long the Lord wants it. Okay? But they're only crying over this place because their cash cow has now been cut off. But ultimately they hate this place. But they just like the money it gets them. But for us, what does it say? Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her for the controversy of Zion. All right? And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, excuse me, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. We know it's not talking about ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon wasn't destroyed by nuclear missiles. Okay? That's understanding prophecy. It says, and they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. Yeah, if you got any Edomites left over, because maybe they weren't in the States. Maybe they were deployed across seas, and some of those battles being fought across seas. When they get word that El Toro's down, they might go and join up with Russia. Because it's like, well, we're Edomites. They're Edomites. Well, let's just go join up with Russia or something. You got, I don't know, you got Chinese people in the American army. They're going to go and side up with their own people and stop fighting against them. You got Japanese people. They're going to do the same thing. Or whoever, whatever nation. You got some Arabics here, so-called Arabics here. They're going to join up with Ishmael across there. Whoever is left from the American ranks, they're going to join up with their own people, man. And that's when they're going to commence fighting one another for the power seat in the earth. And that is where Yahushua is going to slide back to the west. Okay? Because he hasn't come. Actually, the chair is so big, he probably ain't got to slide nowhere. All right? But my point is, after America's destroyed, he's going to finish, that's what it says in 2 Ezra 13. They're going to stop the battle that they're fighting, the fight against Yahushua. So we know at some point they're going to start fighting one another because they all want the rule, the power seat of the earth. And as I always mention, all of them really, but I always mention the BRICS, because the BRICS are really tightly woven together right now. But the BRICS will be broken up. They're not special. Russia's not going to want China to rule over them. China's not want India or Russia, and so on and so forth. The BRICS will be broken up. They're all going to fight one another because they're all are going to want to sit in that seat that America was taken out of. And that's when Yahushua is going to say, nope, I'm next. All right. He's going to take power of the earth and establish the kingdom, like it says in Daniel chapter 2. And that's going to come by more war. He's going to take down these heathen nations. He's going to turn them to ash, man. Smoke up all their armies. Turn them right to dust and ash. All right. That's what Ezra said. All right. That's what Brother Ezra said. It says, and thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. And yeah, when you see these Asians, a lot of them nowadays, if you hadn't physically seen them, all right, you think it was an Edomite, because this is how closely China has fashioned itself after America. And then when I mention the scripture, I always mention checking out the Belts and Roads Initiative. All right, China does a lot with the Belts and Roads Initiative. They are the one country on this earth who are not Edomites that have closely fashioned themselves after the American people, all right, or America in general, I should say. I guess I can get a couple more. I really didn't have to read down this far. It says, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Talking about America, right? China following America, that is. Right? Therefore said the Most High, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. Okay? And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall arise that is sent over thee. Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastised with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. All right, so we can stop right there. Which we got way more than we intended off of that news clip there. I really just I'm glad I actually played it to the end, because that brought other things forward. But I really just want the point around 55 to a minute mark, where China says that we're ready for anything. All right, it could be a tariff war, it could be a trade war, or any other kind of war. Hey, we with it. Okay, so that's a it's a threat, but we know things still have to transpire before all that major type of fighting on that level anyways, because there's fighting, but we're talking about on that level, right, takes place. All right, so that's all I have for you. Really, I don't even know what to call this. We'll figure out a title, but Lord willing that you will edify. Till next time, Yahshua, I'm going to say shalom.